The Americans hold the Mosconi Cup, the competition they call the Ryder Cup of pool. They fielded their strongest ever lineup, but got off to a slow start against inspired European opposition. It's pool of the highest class, and York Hall, Bethnal Green in the East End of London has been packed to the rafters for this, the 4th annual event, with the USA leading 2-1 overall. We're on to day 2 and the score is 3-1 to the Europeans. 25 matches scheduled over 4 days as we join Alan Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the second match of the afternoon. From the United States, it's the King and the Pearl. From Europe, it's the Golden Nugget and the Rapid Rocket. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Rempe, Earl Strickland, Steve Davis and Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Not 9-ball pool experts, but I guess because the white ball and the movement of the white ball in this game is so important, that's the thinking in the European camp. Let's put them both together and try and get another point.
Yeah, actually it's all a mental game, so even if they are not that experienced in 9-ball, they can still control their nerves and show their best shots at the table, and I think it's they have the surprise on their side. They don't have that much pressure as the American team right now.
Tommy, the American team itself, to be fair, they looked to be a little bit jaded last night on the whole and a little bit nervous because a lot of these guys, they're great 9-ball pool players. They've never played for their country before. This show is going live to America as well. Do you think that pressure's got to them a little bit?
It may have, but there's a long way to go yet, and I'm sure they'll pull out some good stuff later on in the tournament.
Well, the two snooker players have got quite a job to do because it would be absolutely fantastic if O'Sullivan and Davis could get Europe 4-1 up at such an early stage.
Yeah, that's our plan. That's what we talked with Steve yesterday, that put us first and then have the surprise on their side and pressure on the Americans, and then take a good lead and then just crush them.
Strickland, Earl the Pearl, upstairs when I was up in the players' room, he goes bananas with every shot, and last night he was having a right ding-dong with the crowd. He gets himself up for these occasions, big occasions like this. He could be a real danger, Tommy.
Yeah, Earl's a great player. He beat me in a tournament earlier on this year, and he does need to psych himself up occasionally, and gets himself going, and when he's in that sort of mood, he's very, very dangerous.
Well, I don't think he was too happy with that, because it was a foul break.
Yeah, that's good.
Exactly. When he gets in the zone, he's really dangerous, but sometimes he just can't control himself. He's such a moody player.
Yeah. So it's an early chance now for Europe to get cracking in this match again, isn't it? And let's hope that they can get the sort of start that you two had in the first match.
Yeah. It's always important to keep a serve, so to speak.
Yeah.
In this game also.
Okay, thanks guys, and well done for getting another point for Europe. It's absorbing entertainment here, and to take you through the second match, it's our commentary team, Jim Weich and Sid Waddell.
Well, thanks, Russ. And it's the Nugget at the table, partnering the Rocket O'Sullivan. And what a pairing this is. Up against King James Rempe and Earl Strickland. In fact, Rempe and Strickland, Sid, the only pairing that has so far put a point on the American scoreboard.
Yep, it was a time when we Brits were the only people who had kings and earls. But you won't get more class sitting in one pool hall anywhere else in the world. Rempe and Strickland, geniuses. And genius, not a word easily applied in sports, but O'Sullivan and Davis definitely in that category. The 6 and the 7. The 8's already gone. Davis studying as usual. Slim and elegant. Romford Slim. Well, Essex's answer to Minnesota Fats.
What you'd expect from the snooker players is very good potting.
Oh, fluking.
What you wouldn't expect is a missed open pot like that.
And there's the whole reaction. Jim Rempe smiles at that. Earl scowls. I think the two previous players, Eminem and Tommy Donlan, analysed Earl's psyche. He's a cross between Ian Wright and the Archangel Gabriel. A wild man 1 minute, an angel the next, Earl. But that's the way he plays his pool. Bad miss!
He's fluked the nine!
Again!
First right for Europe.
Bedlam in Bethnal Green!
Davis walked back to the chair.
6 days to go to Christmas, and he's doing miracles. And
You look at Earl Strickland right now, said you could fry an egg on his forehead. Absolutely disgusted. Davis breaking off here in the second rack. Well, the snooker pairing obviously are going to be terrific cueists. But when it comes to experience and knowledge, the pairing Rempe and Strickland might well be second to none. They take a back seat to no one in that regard. Well, he's brought his own rest head with him. He obviously doesn't like the X-rests that are employed by most of the play over here. Now,
wow,
this is a weird-looking contraption.
Sounds like some of the Inca Indians might have flung at their enemies. Well, I suppose if you're going to take it precise enough to be a world champion, you take the equipment despite the excess baggage. Ronnie won't take long. We've seen Archer working out his shots. Current world champion. Ronnie won't take half that time. If you're new to it, if you just come in, tell the wife you want to be banning presents for 45 minutes because it's more fun here. You've got to go for the low ball, has to hit the 1. But as I'll explain, you can hit the 1-9 combination or the low ball 9 combination anytime, or billiard from the low ball to the 9. Or, if you want to go a slightly easier route, if one of the balls between the 1 and the 9 in this position is up, you can play the low ball onto it. Sounds complicated. It's much easier when you've got a piece of stick in your hand.
Well,
Ronnie taking a long time for him to.
Obviously plays pool like he plays snooker, races around the table like a Ferrari with a Rolls-Royce queuing action.
Jim White's there, auditioning for the motor racing commentary position. Crowd appreciative, noisy, and at the right time, one has to say, as the genius comes to the board. Maybe a flawed genius, maybe let his temperament run away with him, but if you could bottle it and put a Kentucky label on it, you can make millions. What Strickland's got. Pure genius on the blue beers.
What a shot from Earl Strickland. When a safety presented itself, he attacked. Plays on pure adrenaline. Wears his heart on his shirt sleeve. Earl, a Pearl Strickland. Doesn't like to mess about.
The eye of a genius, the execution of a tiger. All right, maybe schizoid at times. He suddenly seems almost to will himself into... He hypes up. Maybe the crowd gets to him, maybe he gets to the crowd. All part of the animal in action. Genius at work. It's almost like a tumbril rattling out. This is what we can do to you. The Stars and Stripes. Rampant. Takes due applause. Earl Strickland, shining, certainly out of his shell.
Love him or hate him, Earl Strickland is genius in action. 1-1 in the opening set here, Europe and America.
Well, here we are at the York called Bethnal Green, folks. And despite the Americans being in the hole, as they say, 3-1 down to Europe, a bit of humour. Jim Rempe has just said to Steve Davis, who's just done 2 outrageous blues, try to hit them in the pocket of your aim or not. Good spirit, despite the Americans being under the cosh here. We've just had Immonen and Donlan win a marathon match against Archer and Davenport, and now we've got the brilliance of Earl Strickland and Jim Rempe, handling the combined snooker skills of O'Sullivan and Steve Davis. Rempe in play.
Got the combination, knock down the 3 with the 1, perfectly legal as long as you contact the lowest ball on the table. And now up for the 2, and have a look where the 9 is. Nicely perched over the corner pocket. This is a 2-9 for the rack.
The mortgage on 2-1 to the Americans.
And Rempe did that in the blink of an eye. 2-1, the USA now.
Boy, you hit a duff note. Greatest box office name in the game, Strickland.
Well, they call him the $1 million man as well. He won $1 million when putting 10 racks together back in the USA. Very similar to running a perfect game in the world of snooker.
Rack, Europe to break.
Yeah, came off at Tobacco Farm when he was about 10. He was playing pool for lots of money by the age of 16 in Kentucky.
Well, Ronnie got that 9 moving. We've noticed that today, Sid, in stark contrast to yesterday's play. That 9 seemed virtually lodged in the middle of the table, but great
They
shot
have been
from
working
O'Sullivan
on
there.
freezing the rack better. Has that helped?
I think the referees have been doing their job today. Look at that silky, smooth cueing action from O'Sullivan. Effortless.
To 2 sets. Wins the game. We're in the opening set of this one. America lead 2 racks to 1. And with Rempe and Strickland playing, they can clean up very quickly. Mind Ronnie doesn't hang about. Either with 15 balls on the table or 9.
He's the UK snooker champion, recently crowned. You know, if he ever decided to take 9-ball up seriously, got used to the equipment and the changes in tactical play related to the game, it could well be a force in North America.
Yeah, if Ronnie ever went from the east end of the wire to the west side, he could tell a story or 2.
Very quickly running the balls out. The Rocket O'Sullivan levels accounts here with America.
cue for pool and snooker. See, the tip's just a bit bigger than a normal snooker cue. You need that with these bigger balls.
Well, that's right. You've got much bigger balls, heavier, and you can sometimes do some damage. There you see O'Sullivan's cue right along beside it, a little longer and obviously a smaller tip. And still Earl Strickland checking to see his break cue. The Americans all have break cues, by the way. And the Europeans, at least Davis and O'Sullivan, break with their playing cue.
And the break cue actually bends considerably on impact, sometimes up to 4 inches. See, Earl, there is that. You see, the use actually a transfer of power from the knees through the stomach muscles into the shoulder is a fantastic feat of coordination. I'm not kidding. It's very difficult to time the movement of arm and wrist with the movement of the leg taking the weight.
One of the greatest shot makers the game has ever seen. There you can see the remaining colors, the 8 having been potted off the break. He's got to take those in order, and any time he can elect to attack the 9.
Thin as gossamer on spring grass, the cut. But all the shots, Strickland, he won't hang about. The difference between the eye and the execution, infinitesimal. He's straight in with the shots. It's the most exciting play in the world to watch.
Well, that hasn't worked out ideally for him. The orange 5, the next ball on, he played that with a lot of side. That's one thing, again, the Americans do is they spin that white around the table. They really get it working. There you can see, had it not touched the 9, it might have come out very nicely onto the 5 ball, but he's going to need a very good pot here to continue.
Where's he after then, Jim? He's after bottom left to use the cushion for position on the 6.
He's more concerned with where the cue ball is going as well. It's going to be racing around. He's not too happy with that. Looks like if he elected to play this into the center, that cue ball would be traveling very near the corner pocket. Well, I think Earl
thinking about position. He forgot about the pot.
I think he tried to bank that, but it's come out very well for him. Very fortunate. He won't be terribly disgusted with that effort. There you can see a total eclipse. That green 6 right in the middle of the ball on the 5. So Steve just looking where he wants to contact it. If he hits this perfectly, he may be able to leave that cue ball in behind the 6. And there you can see the situation. Got to contact this very full. Just overdid it slightly. Had the right idea. Just a little bit too much pace.
So the swerve on the side applied beautifully there. Rempe, born and raised, still living in Scranton, Pennsylvania. 80-odd major titles in a glistering career.
Well, it seems like Jim Rempe's been around forever, and at 50 years of age and the way he's looking, he's going to be around for a while yet. Beautifully controlled. This very simple 9 to go. 1 rack in front. The Americans leading Europe now, 3 racks to 2 in the opening set. Remember, you have to win by 2 clear racks, so they're on the bubble here of taking a set.
But the Americans have got 2 aces, and I mean aces in here. And they could do without being given early Christmas treats like that. Davis in off the pack.
Well, when that cue ball finds its way to the pocket of any
kiss off the
description,
green, unlucky.
spells bad news. Steve and his partner Oliver Ortmann lost to the pairing of Rempe and Strickland last night. Have a look. All the balls remaining on the table, but Jim Rempe with cue ball in hand.
Just stressing the order. If they lie in the open, you take them as they run, 2 through 9. You can see shots that involve a higher ball. As long as you hit the low ball, it's legit to go, say, 2 to 5. Or if you can see a low ball to 9, plant or cannon, then your quid's in. It's your birthday.
Well, he's bending there, Sid. He needs angle on this red 3 to the right center to be able to take the cue ball up for the pink 4. That's next, and that's right at the bottom of the table on your picture.
Takes this rack, takes the first set. And Nick Farley, the American captain, will heave a sigh of relief and chew another half a pound of gum in the next 10 minutes.
Looks like he's just got to force this slightly. He's overdone it. He had to force that. It was very straight. And he's hit it miles too hard.
Yeah, I wanted to be about that.
So once again, for Jim Rempe, he's got to look for a very good defensive shot here. He would like to hide that cue ball. Try and take it over in behind the 8, the black one at the left side. It looks like he's achieved his goal. Don't know if Ronnie can get through to the pink 4 here. Well, it looks like he can because he's looking at the combination onto the 6.
Yeah, if they hit the low ball, which is the 4. If it develops in the 6, that's good. Ronnie played that beautifully. The intermediate shots. As long as you hit the low ball, you can put any other one.
What a terrific shot from O'Sullivan that was.
Yeah.
As good as any we've seen.
It's even slackened the jaws of the 2 stars from the States, Rempe and Strickland.
You know, we were talking earlier, sometimes complacency can creep into O'Sullivan's game playing snooker. He looks well and truly into this. Very focused.
Young macho man's game, I think. Although lads like Rempe are 50, Jim. So it makes it catch on. All square then. 3 racks each. Thanks to an inspired little combination shot by Ronnie.
We're watching Steve Davis and Ronnie O'Sullivan against Earl Strickland and King James Rempe. Strickland and Rempe gave a point. The 1 point that America has was by virtue of their win last night over Davis and Oliver Ortmann.
And the set.
And the 9 off the break. That gives them a 4-3 lead. Terrific. That just goes to show you what the advantage of having a big break in 9-ball can do for you. 1 shot and out.
Yeah, the golden break. Just watch that 9-ball roll slowly and get into the pocket.
Being Boris Becker on the tennis circuit, having a massive serve. It's such a dynamic, powerful weapon to have in 9-ball. most of the tournaments, you know, in America, Sid, are not alternating breaks. The winner breaks, and you can steamroll your opponent with 3, 4, 5 racks on the trot and really put the pressure on them.
And it's not the sort of thing you learn at kindergarten
rack,
or Cub
Europe
Scouts. You learn it down the pool hall, where the likes of Strickland and the boys gone, some of them since the age of 10.
Well, O'Sullivan showing us the benefit of having a good break with his snooker cue. Nicely onto the blue 2, top right. The 4, the pink 4, which is at the same end of the table, will be next. He made the 3, the 5, and the 8 off the break.
And there is the diagram of scoring pattern. 3's down. Ronnie 2. The pink 4 is next in sequence. But if you can see any nearer ball, say the 6, 7 or the 9 were nearer the hull, and you could play a shot off the low ball, that's allowed. In case of 9, it gives you the game.
The orange 5, the ball next, and then just softly down for the green 6.
So Ronnie looking good to take us to a sudden death rack in this opening set. Europe 3-1 up, surprisingly, against the USA. Yep, just come in off the tube or off your bike, and you hung up your bike clips and put the kettle on. This is 3-1 to Europe, and looking good. A level game here in game 5 of the Mosconi.
We're going to be looking at a tie break. The 9 goes down, and that's exactly what we've got. Our second tie break of the day here in the second day of the Mosconi Cup. Davis and O'Sullivan up against Strickland and Rempe, and it's going to be a 1-game decider. Who
Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan from the East End of London is a snooker genius. You might be hearing a lot more of him in the world of 9-ball pool.
So these players are going to lag off for the break, exactly as they did in determining the first match of the day. Closest cue ball to the far cushion will be breaking off here, and it looks a lot like it's going to be Europe.
Ronnie's ball.
Europe.
So if O'Sullivan can manufacture a break
Europe to break.
very similar to the one that he just showed you, he'll have laid the foundation for a victory. Nothing down, Sid, but at least he hasn't left anything for Strickland.
Yeah, Strickland starred in last year's Mosconi Cup, played in the last match. CJ Whiteley took the cup to the States. That was in Dagenham. Here we are on Bethnal Green, and he was the strongest American last night in the opening session. That's a brilliant shot.
Earl Strickland is pulling rabbits from hats. Tremendous pot there. He's on the blue too. He's got to dig into the cue ball to try and pull it around the 3.
So, as the graphic shows here, the ball on. So the shot is played in relevance to the difficult balls to follow. But with this guy, some things are not difficult. 5 times world champion Strickland, once known as the Road Warrior, played for thousands of dollars, particularly in Lexington, Kentucky, when he was no more than 16. Now doesn't like to talk about that time of the game when he was a money player. Now considers himself a professional sportsman. You're seeing why. He's going around that table like Linford Christie on Castes.
Right now he's a man on a mission, pacing around like a caged animal. It's a sudden death game here. The winner of this rack will take the opening set. Strickland just has to knock in these remaining 4 balls.
And there's a look on Rempe's face that says more or less, that's my boy. Doesn't have to do anything but make sure this black is dead straight. Played with power to take it dead straight again. Strickland shining like the pearl he is!
Brilliance from the American Earl of Pearl. It was a valiant effort by the Europeans. And
Davis
Second set.
and Ronnie O'Sullivan here. Got a task on their hands against 2 legends of the game, Rempe and Strickland.
well, it's such a vital point for the Americans, given the scoreline of 3-1 down at the moment. It can ill afford to let the Europeans get too far in front. They just want to keep buying time, let that jet lag and the time change start to wear off, and let them start to show the sort of form that Earl Strickland is displaying right now. He's winning racks, Sid, from positions that don't even seem to present the winning line.
Well, that's the definition of genius. Oh, an infinite capacity for making other people feel pain. He's got that as Strickland.
Foul.
Oh, looky.
Well, the table's leaking. Unfortunately, one of the balls is the cue ball in. And Strickland showing how he thrusts that arm and cue into the break shot. But that cue ball weaving its way to the top corner, and O'Sullivan benefiting from it with cue ball in hand.
No trouble with the remaining balls here. Green 6 is easy after the pink. There's the low ball, the pink. Off the cush. Ronnie learning the technique. The long pocket technique. And position easily achieved off the side rail. Again, he goes for the long pocket, leaving the long black.
Making short work of this and making it look child's play. It's not. O'Sullivan's just that good. The 9 down. And they've tied it up here in the second set. 1 rack apiece in this race to 3. Steve Davis and Ronnie O'Sullivan. A lot more comfortable on a snooker table, but I rather think they enjoy themselves out there playing 9-ball.
Back here in the Mosconi Cup in the East End of London, we're still in the second set. The score, 1 rack apiece.
Europe are leading the Americans 3-1 overall in the Mosconi Cup in the second session. But a bit of a mini revival on in the shape of Rempe in play now and Strickland. They are leading this match. They've got 1 set up in the best of 3, but it's 1-1 in the second set. O'Sullivan and Davis can't afford to lose this set.
Well, 3 balls made off the break. The cue ball, not exactly in the position that Jim Rempe would have wished for. The blue 2 down the side cushion.
Fluke, I think. Yeah. Blue straightened out much earlier than he intended, fluked in the black.
Well, that was one he wished he might not have got. I think he's going to either have to swerve this or play it off the top cushion.
What a way to get out of jail! That is driving out of jail in a big white limousine laughing at the guards.
That flew into the corner pocket. Another look at this. Unerring. King James eyeing up the 3. Maybe looking at the 3-9 combination here.
Well, King James, who's named after the 6th and 1st, is known as the wisest fool in Christendom, and he couldn't have played a shot like that. Look at that perfect finger bridge. Oh, he tried the cannon. He tried the cannon onto the 9 and would have accepted the double kiss.
Well, Jim's talking to the balls out there right now. He has a little fun with the crowd. He's no stranger to center stage in front of TV cameras. He's been involved in movies. He's played all around the world. But I have to say, Sid, I don't know if he's ever represented the USA with 5 other top players in a Ryder Cup format pool tournament.
Named after American legend Willie Mosconi, mentioned in the same breath as Minnesota Fats, alias Rudolph Wannerano Jr. So the game that was once frowned upon in River City and all over the place, now worth waving the stars and stripes and wearing it proudly on your breast, folks, if you're watching in the States. And Jim trying that tricky double bank again. Could have stuck it up. Maybe a bit of flash that was unnecessary there.
Well, he kept throwing at the dice, and this time they didn't come up 7.
Rail shot for SD. Well, maybe that little bit of showboat in by Rempe could cost him dear. This could put Europe ahead. Davis takes the next 2 balls in this second set. Stabbing into the object ball with a bit of draw and simultaneous contact on the cush here and the ball. No bother.
No trouble at all for Davis. Rempe was just asking too much. And
the 1 set apiece, and it would mean more ulcers for Nick Varner, the American captain. So the crowd, you people at home, this side of the Atlantic anyway,
Europe to break.
and in mainland Europe, we hope when that Davis has a productive break here.
just leaning into the break. That looks perfect.
Certainly does. Blue flew in. Brown edged itself into the middle. The rest of the table is open. Never get a better chance to pull level. Has to go to the 1 now, then the 3 and proceed through to the 9. Beautiful shots. Lots of bottom, flick the black out of his way. And very handy for where he may pot it later. Davis, ice cool.
The one thing the snooker players have to try and guard against is knowing the size of these pockets. And certainly given the comparison between these and the snooker table's pockets, they don't want to take anything for granted.
And Davis said that since his last outing, which was at Lakeside in Essex about 3 months ago, he'd been working on control of the white in this, which, as Jim White knows, the key to success in this all spheroid ball games. Billiards is about where the white ends up.
A little too straight on the 8 ball. So he's going to have to make a longer 9, but this shouldn't pose any hurdles.
To give Uncle Sam some more pain under the top hat.
Second set.
The second set goes to the Europeans. They've tied it up. It's 1 set apiece. The third and deciding set is going to be upcoming here. Steve Davis and Ronnie O'Sullivan up against Earl Strickland and Jim Rempe. Well, we continued play during the break there, and the Americans, in fact, took that opening rack in this third set. So it's Davis breaking off in the second rack.
But no ball down. And the 9 is looking very ominously positioned for the Euro lads. It's hanging over the bottom right. And in play now, Jim Rempe, just the man to capitalise on that. The balls are open. He's got to go for the 1 first, but he is keeping a weather eye on the 9. He's going to clip the 1 in there. The blue 9, I think, was what he was looking at, Jim.
Well, rest assured, Sydney, these gentlemen always know where that 9 ball is on the table. And right now, the 2-9 combination.
Yeah, that's the plant. He's gonna. Now, will he plant or will he billiard it? What's the best way, Jim? The white.
He's going to play the 2 and play it right down onto the 9. Try and pot the 9 in the corner pocket. He can run with the cue ball up the top end of the table. The other option would be to play off the 2, but it would be a little bit tougher to judge. All depends what Jim fancies right now. He could play the 2 into the corner pocket and play the cue ball over to the 9. Bottom left and bottom right. Watch them both.
Yeah, the
billiard's in.
Went for the cannon rather than the plant, and Strickland appreciates it. Here to their biggest stars, Rempe and Strickland. Geniuses both. Looking good to pull it back to 3-2. As Davenport and Archer, I think that's Kim Davenport's lady wife with him, look a bit more relieved than they were looking 10 minutes ago.
Well,
Third
Jim
rack,
Rempe
final
is
set.
going to have the chance here
America to break.
to break off for victory. Already 2-0. They're 1 rack away from gaining their second point. First order of business accomplished. Got a ball off the break, but nothing easy.
And again, the 9 is lurking within a foot of the bottom right pocket. So the matrix of vectors inside Rempe's mind will be working out how to get to that 9 as soon as possible. There's the low ball, the 1 out the way. He's having a look at this pattern of balls down the right of the table as we look at it. He is looking at the blue 2, which I think passes the orange. Did he try it? He didn't try the three ball.
No, it was just poor execution that time from Rempe. A wry smile. This was just a plain and simple miss. O'Sullivan just having a quick look. The 2 is on. The orange 5 next. Well, I've got a feeling Ronnie went after the 9 there. That was a bit adventurous.
And one does sense a different mood in Strickland's psyche. He looks as though he's sniffing the winning post. Orange is the one he has to hit. It's very difficult. What he can. What you have to do is, well, the simplest way is to put them in order, but you can go intermediate and use the low ball to punt one of the others higher.
Great! Watch the cue ball.
Foul.
Well, Ronnie saw it come into the pocket and just nuzzled it out with a tip. And I fear for the European side, that might well be the beginning of the end. Strickland at the table, and you can't expect him not to take advantage of this.
And in a way, it's fitting that the brooding, flawed, one has to say, a genius in the showbiz sense of Strickland. It's fitting that he put the coup de grace on this game. His early confidence and fast play set the pace for Rempe to step in with some class. Strickland, for me, has dominated the tournament so far, and he is holding him and Rempe are holding the Americans in. This is their second match win. And it gives the Americans a sigh of relief upstairs for Nick Fowler, the captain, and the rest of the team. Rempe and Strickland take it, and the score is now Europe 3, America 2.
An emphatic victory for the Americans.
Ladies and gentlemen, your appreciation, please, for all 4 players, if you will. Thank you.
Confirmation of the scoreline.
And can I remind you, we still have
now,
one more match to go this afternoon. 1 more to go.
In favor of Europe.